Men are trying to be attractive, and this is exactly why most of them are actually failing. Because you don't earn attraction by trying too hard, you actually get it by becoming someone that people notice, that people feel. And you might have heard a lot of advice saying text her more or text her less, be unavailable towards her, build this superficial confidence within yourself, or show interest in someone else, do cold approaching. But let me tell you one thing most men do not want to actually hear. The more you try to become magnetic, the more you try to be liked by someone, the less attractive that you actually become. Because magnetism is not something that you actually find your way into, it is something that you become, it is the identity that you adopt. And most of the times, men who are actually magnetic, they truly do not care if they're actually being liked by someone or not. And this is exactly something that we are going to talk in today's video. So if you're new here, I am Vaishnavi and I'm a men's coach and I help men heal with their traumas, attachment issues and wounded masculinity in order for them to pursue meaningful connection, firstly with themselves and also with a woman as well. Now, if you want to get coached by me to heal your traumas, heal your confidence issues, self-worth issues, you can reach out to me through Instagram, DM me the keyword coach to book a one-on-one session with me. You'll find the link to my Instagram in the description box below. And apart from this, if you specifically want to work on building your masculine energy or getting rid of your nice guy habits, you will find the course related to that as well in the description box below. So without any further ado, let's get into the video and let's talk about what are the 5 ways that you can actually become a magnetic man. The first thing that I want you to do is to stop performing. Most of the men, when they actually like a woman, they start taking calculated actions towards her to be perceived in a certain manner. You want her to think of you in a certain way because of which you start performing in this whole process. Now, this is not evident performance in front of her, but you start calculating what text you should be sending, what time you should be replying. And in this whole process, you unconsciously even start playing games to actually look cool in front of her. And in this whole process, sometimes you over explain, you over text, and you also try to be too available because you don't have a life of your own. And in this whole process, what happens is she truly understands that you are trying to win her over. There's nothing wrong in actually expressing interest towards a person. But then, when you're hyper focused on actually doing performance to win someone over, that is where the problem truly comes in. And the moment you're trying hard to be liked and you're trying hard to win someone over, that is the moment you actually put this person on a pedestal. When you put someone on a pedestal, unconsciously you perceive their value to be higher than yours. And this is the place from where you start performing in front of them because you also want them to see you as someone with value and someone who could be chosen. But magnetic men do not do that. They don't chase someone too much. They also let the connection breathe and they also let the connection unfold over a period of time as well. Now, this is not me saying you should not lead and you should not initiate because as a man, you are always supposed to lead in a connection. But this is to also tell you that you do not have to go out of your way and you do not have to try too hard to be someone that you are not, to be liked by a person, to be liked by a woman. Because in this whole process of performing, you are leaving behind your authenticity. Your authenticity is the biggest reason why someone might actually like you and fall in love with you because you're not scared to lose them. And you shouldn't be chasing too much closeness, and you should also let people take a step forward towards you. So, the next time you feel that urge to fill the gap, to send another question, to actually ensure that she is still interested in you, pull back, take a step back, bring your attention back towards yourself. Because magnetism actually begins the moment you stop controlling how you want to be perceived by someone else, especially a woman. The second thing that I want you to keep in mind is that You need to build a life that doesn't need her in it. Your life should be so whole that anyone's presence or absence cannot truly shake you. And this is something that you need to apply only in the early stages of dating. You cannot take this notion into a relationship because, of course, when she has shown you time and over that she is consistent, she is into you, you need to create time to also fit her into your life. But in the early stages of dating, specifically, your center should be within yourself. Your focus should be in your life. You need to wait at least 2 to 3 months for this connection to breathe and for you to even see, okay, is this connection even developing organically? Is she still putting in the same kind of consistent effort that she was in the beginning? Because if those things are happening the way it should happen, then that's a green signal, and that also means you can take the connection into a stage of commitment as well. And also remember, if your emotional state is dependent on her response and the way she shows up in your reality, know that you are completely attached and you are a slave to your emotions. There is no problem in feeling emotions, but you can't give your entire heart out to someone because you're projecting their fantasy onto them. How do you know you're projecting fantasy onto them? You do not give them time to actually show their true version. Everyone is amazing in the beginning stages of dating until they're not. So you can't just assume that this person is your person within like week 1 to 3. You have to wait for month 1, month 2, month 3 to actually see if the consistency is being built up. And then your focus during these months should be on your life, your mission, your purpose. What are you doing for yourself, your fitness, your health? In a way, you shouldn't even be in a position where your mind can actually overthink about someone else and a connection. Because if you're checking your phone constantly, if your mood is shifting based on how she responds to you, then know that you are dependent on her. You're dependent on her to feel good enough about yourself. Somewhere you have also started outsourcing your validation to someone else too. And magnetic man, they have a life that is already full. They're already building something. They have their attention set on their goals, the vision they have for their lives. So when a woman basically enters his life, she is not the center of his life. She is basically just an addition. But you remain the axis of your life. And she is an addition to your life. From this place, you are also in an empowered position to actually make a decision. Do you want her in your life? Do you see the effort that she's putting, the consistency that she's giving that is up to the standard that you hold for yourself? The next thing I want you to know is that emotional control is real masculinity. There are two kinds of men that women truly encounter: one who is completely shut down and who is avoidant. The other one are the nice guys who are emotionally unstable, who do not have their center. But neither of those are healthy masculine traits. One is avoidance and the other is instability. But a magnetic man, he is deeply connected with his emotions. He feels his emotions, but he is not controlled by them. He does not react loudly when someone is pulling away. He has his center, he has his focus on his life as well. He doesn't get triggered by silence. He does not chase reassurance. He knows his worth is inherent, and he also has his belief system that if someone is not seeing his value, that's basically their loss. And they stay grounded because their emotions do not control them. They have complete control over the way they respond to someone else. And this is the most important masculine trait every man has to master, which is emotional control, emotional mastery. This again does not mean that you get disconnected from your emotions and you suppress your emotions. You feel your emotions deeply, but you do not let your emotions rule over you. You process them out in a healthy way, but your actions are a direct result of reflection once you actually process that emotion. The next thing I want you to keep in mind is say less and mean more. Some men, they talk too much. And it's not because they have a lot to talk, because they have this fear of being misunderstood by someone else. And in this whole process, they end up over explaining, they justify, they ramble, and in the process of doing this, they end up losing their magnetism. Because a truly magnetic man, he does not just ramble for the sake of it. His words are precise. He only speaks when he has something meaningful to actually contribute, when he is intentional about what he wants in his life. He doesn't ramble or he doesn't go on speaking just to fill the silence and to ensure that he is being perceived in a certain way by someone else. In a way, he truly does not give a shit about what someone else actually thinks of him, because he knows himself so deeply. And this is a man who has done the inner work, who has actually faced his demons, his shadows, who really knows the nook and corner of his mind. What are his good parts? What are his bad parts? And when a man knows all these things about himself, this is a man who truly accepts himself for who he is, because he has no need to impress anyone else. So, in this case, this man only speaks when the need arises and not for the sake of it. So, if you remove 50% of what you say for the sake of it and you actually just keep 50% of what you truly mean, trust me, this will have a very big impact on how magnetic you look to someone else. And there is also something women find very attractive about men, that is how mysterious he can look. That doesn't mean you completely shut off from her as well, but a little bit of mystery is amazing when it comes to having that attraction early on in the connection. And know that silence, when used intentionally and correctly, is way more powerful than your words can ever be. The next thing magnetic men do is that they are not afraid of losing people. They are comfortable with losing people. And this is one point that most men will avoid. Why? Because most of you are deeply lonely. Why are you deeply lonely? Because you have not faced your inner demons, your belief systems, your shadow aspects as well. Loneliness is something that comes when you have a lot of unprocessed junk in your mind. It does not come to a person who truly knows himself and who truly enjoys solitude. And it's typically people who've done the deep inner work on themselves reach that stage where they are okay with solitude. And a magnetic man is someone who is okay with solitude. In a way, he is not afraid to lose people who add chaos into his life. He is not afraid to make a decision to actually decide who stays in his life from an empowered place. And if you are someone who loses his own center when a woman walks away, just know that you're already operating from a place of weakness. You're operating from a place of void. You just desperately want someone to be in your life because you don't like your own company. And trust me, if you're a man who is scared of being lonely, women can feel that, and this is not attractive. They can unconsciously even sense how hard you're trying to keep the connection together. They can even sense the anxiety of you losing them from your life as well. They can feel your need to hold on. They can feel the fear that you have of saying the wrong things, which might let them go from your life. But when you are a man who is truly magnetic, no one's presence or absence can actually shake your center, because you then become a man where you are your own axis. Any person that comes into your life from that place onwards is just an addition onto your life, onto the full amazing life that you're truly building for yourself. And magnetic men do not cling, because clinging creates pressure onto the connection. Sometimes you might even lose the most amazing woman because you are so in an attempt to not lose the woman, because you try too hard to keep her into your life. But again, this just sends out a message that you are truly desperate to be with someone else and you are not whole within yourself. And a man who is magnetic understands something that most men do not. Not every connection is meant to last. Not every connection is aligned as well. Sometimes a woman comes into your life for a season to teach you a lesson. Sometimes they come for life. And if you're a man who just wants someone badly in their life, what you truly do is you project onto them. They might show themselves to be a person in reality, but then your stories, your fantasies projects a different version onto them. And then you end up being heartbroken because they could not match your expectations that you internally created. But when you are projecting onto someone else, you are truly not even understanding this person for who they are. You are not even curious about them. So much of your energy is actually going into keeping that connection alive. And this is how you end up in the worst heartbreak of your life. But on the other side, I truly believe every man should actually experience this heartbreak once in their life because it truly forges you into a man. When you swim through that pain, it shapes your identity in a great way. But there's also a dark side of this. If you have been heartbroken and if you don't work on yourself, you also end up in a victim mindset where you end up blaming the entire gender of women for being bad instead of actually reflecting on your choice in women. But if you work through this and if you heal yourself from this heartbreak, you become a man with high standards who can truly sustain a healthy relationship in the future as well. And if someone leaves from your life, do not collapse. Continue with your life because you shouldn't, anyways, be positioning your entire life around one person. And when you truly become a man who is not afraid of losing people, ironically, that is when people do not want to lose you from their life as well. So, here is the final truth that you need to understand. You are not going to become magnetic because you try to be magnetic. You are not going to become magnetic because you implement certain tricks or tips in your dating life as well. You become magnetic when you actually stop trying and when you adopt an identity of a man who is truly whole and who truly accepts himself and validates himself. He speaks intentionally, he moves intentionally. He's not afraid of losing people and he is not in that fear of being alone as well. You build that life that fulfills you, you also learn to control your emotions. And when you have these changes within you at an identity level, your energy changes. And when your energy changes, people start getting attracted to you, not because you tried, but because it is inevitable. But most men end up in that small percentage of guys who just want to be chosen instead of being the guys who are actually choosing. And this is just a very few percentage of people who actually become impossible to ignore. And most of the women end up liking these men because they truly do not care, if someone is there in their life or not. But this is not a message for you to be the bad boy. Do not take advantage of anyone's emotions. Do not play around with anyone. Please operate from integrity. Please operate from honesty because you can't build a healthy relationship with someone when you're just playing games with them. You build a healthy relationship with someone when you have standards, when your life is full, but you also value consistency, love from someone else, and you have the ability to receive that as well without playing any games. And from this video, if you understood that there's a big gap between the man you are versus the man you want to become, you can also reach out to me to work with me so that we can truly understand what are the things that are holding you back in your life from becoming the most magnetic version. You can reach out to me through Instagram. You will find the link to that in the description box below. So, I hope this episode was helpful and I'll see you guys in the next one.